Okay, guys. So, I've also got another video that's going to go along with this one. Or another couple of videos. We're going to see how long it takes to make those. But they're going to have a specific guided notes that'll go along with it. So I'll post those online for you as well today. And hopefully that'll be good for you. So this is just going to be a brief overview of just the different areas that these infections can occur. The different viruses that I want you to know will be in those guided notes for you. Okay? So again, how do viruses cause disease? Well, the idea here is that viruses go ahead within their host cells. They're going to go ahead and build all of their materials within the host cell. So viruses cannot multiply on their own. They need to have a host cell in order to do that. Okay, they either get out through lysis or budding, and then the host cells are usually destroyed. Okay. So this leads to the symptoms of viral infection because if you have less of those cells, then you're going to experience some type of a reaction to that, whether it's some type of inflammation or a reaction of some sort, and that will vary depending on the location. So when we're looking at this viral infections of the skins, the biggest one that I want you to know about is going to be the chickenpox and shingles, which is caused by Varicella zoster virus. It's a DNA virus that's also very similar, or it's also known as human herpes virus 3. And I'll show you a little picture of that later. But you can also get, we also have German measles, which is the rubella, and then measles, which is rubeola. They're both RNA viruses as well. So remember, DNA viruses means they have a DNA genome. RNA viruses mean they have an RNA genome. So again, we're going to have DNA transcriptase and RNA transcriptase that'll occur with both of these. As a way that they'll bring their own enzymes to the party to do that, to make their own replications, and then from there they'll make their proteins, etc., that they need to be able to replicate and make all the parts that go with it. So you have monkeypox and smallpox. They're both going to be a couple different. So with smallpox, remember you can essentially, whenever you have the smallpox vaccine, it's a cowpox vaccine, and it's very similar. And they're both DNA viruses. And then you can also have, from human papillomaviruses, you can get genital warts. Okay? So chickenpox, remember those. This is going to be a child with measles. Okay? You got monkeypox. They're not very comfortable. These are all just examples of those different types of things. Okay? So viral infections of the eyes. You have any type of conjunctivitis and conjunctivitis. This is going to be any type of, essentially they'll look like pink eye. A lot of times with those, should wash their hands thoroughly before you go ahead. Again, think of them as kind of like cold sores. You're going to have any type of viral infection. You want to make sure that you're washing your hands accordingly afterwards. And I honestly don't wear, if you have any type of pink eye, you shouldn't be wearing your contact lenses. But the idea is that you're going to be secreting those specific viruses, and you don't want to pass them on to the next person. Okay, upper respiratory, the common cold. This is going to be talked about a little bit more. But a lot of times, influenza can be mistaken for the common cold. A lot of times they kind of correspond. They have very similar viruses. But there's many different ones that go through it. Most of them are rhinoviruses. But we can also get coronaviruses. Sounds familiar, right? We can also get adenoviruses. And the rest of them are not very common. Those are the 3 major ones that you'll be responsible for. And they're always just born through, you can just, any type of pretty much direct contact. Will occur. Sorry about my daughter crying. She's very hungry right now, apparently. Okay. So that's just pretty much with those. With lower respiratory, you can have viral diseases, respiratory diseases, and this can be caused by pretty much any type of influenza virus or any type of virus that would cause a common cold if it gets down to your lower respiratory tract. You can also get the bird flu, any type of influenza disease, which we'll talk about that. You can also get the pulmonary syndrome. That can be caused by a different one, influenzas, and then SARS. And SARS is going to be associated a lot of times too with the coronavirus, which is why a lot of people are talking about that as a way to treat the COVID-19 that we are experiencing right now. But SARS, when we had that one, that's another one that's associated again with China, and that is also going to be transmitted through respiratory, or through direct contact. Okay. And remember, we have influenza. They say type A, B, and C. Realistically, it's all just about H1N1s. What are these spike proteins? And they're all going to be RNA viruses. Okay. Okay, with viral infections of the cold sores. Here, I'll just.
I'm keeping my coat.
Sorry, my daughter may cry for a little bit here, but she needs mama. Okay, so with cold sores, you're going to be dealing with the herpes simplex virus 2, type 1. I apologize. And this is going to be a DNA virus that is found within the what we call within the herpes family, essentially. So this is going to be, most of the time you can get these in the genital tract as well, but they can also, most of the time genital herpes is going to be caused by herpes simplex type 2. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Okay. Now, when it comes to the dealing with the GI tract, most of the time you're not going to see so many viruses within the GI tract. Again, more of the common ones that you'll get within the GI tract are going to be like E. coli and Salmonella, and those are going to be bacterial-based diseases. But you can get viral gastroenteritis. This can be caused by a number of common viruses, rotavirus. Again, most of the time they're going to be transmitted through fecal orals. And the other type of things that we're going to be dealing with viral hepatitis, this is going to be inflammation of the liver, which is technically part of your gastrointestinal tract. And so you're going to have multiple different ones. We will talk a little bit more about what the different types are. But the idea here is that type A and type E usually occur through fecal oral transmission. Type B, C, and D is going to occur through either exposure to infected bodily fluids, and some sexual transmission, because you can also get any type of blood as well. C can also be done through parent, basically from mother to child, and the same thing with type G. Okay, so you can also have some viral STDs. Again, genital herpes is an example of that. That's going to be caused, again, by the herpes simplex virus type 2. Usually occurs through sexual contact. Usually, again, most of the time when you're talking about any type of herpes, you need to have through direct contact. Genital warts, this is going to occur with a human papillomavirus, HPV. Again, this is a DNA virus, and it usually occurs, again, by direct contact through sexual transmission. Now, genital warts can become tumors, so that is why they're concerned, and that's why a lot of times you hear about the, human papillomavirus vaccine to prevent future issues with cancer within the genital areas. Okay. Viral infections of the circulatory system, that's going to include HIV, and we've talked a lot about this. And so we are going to talk about it again, just a little bit of a review within our notes. So I'm just going to kind of briefly go over and say, hey, this is a viral infection of the circulatory system. It specifically targets the T cells. Okay? So for the most part, it's going to come through sexual contact, but you can also get it through a blood transfusion or using a contaminated needle. That's why a lot of drug users, they were ones that were experiencing HIV. And it can also occur through, it's not quite as common anymore because we have many modes of preventing this, but it can also occur through mother to child during delivery. Okay. Now, another ones we're going to talk about is mononucleosis. So this is caused by the Epstein-Barr virus. Again, this is a type of herpes simplex virus as well. And so this is going to be a DNA virus. We'll talk a little bit about that. But this mostly comes from person to person, usually direct contact from saliva. Again, mumps. This is another one. This is child with mumps here. And this is an RNA virus. It's caused by literally the mumps virus. Again, direct contact for the most part. Okay, so hemorrhagic diseases, most of that's going to be Ebola. That's a big one, but you can get any of these hemorrhagic fevers, yellow fever, any of those infected. They're just going to be ones that cause for viral hemorrhagic fevers. Again, they're going to cause for more of a bleeding issue, and that's why they're bad. So Ebola, the bleeding of the stool. Okay. In the central nervous system, so again, we have polioviruses. There are RNA viruses. These are usually done through person to person, usually fecal oral. Can also come through throat secretions. Um, so that's going to be an example. We also have rabies. That's going to be another one that can be infected. This really targets the brain for the most part, and it usually comes from rabid animals through a bite that can occur in the saliva. Okay, and then viral meningitis. This can be caused by a number of different things, but the idea is that they attack the meninges. Okay, so these are just some arthropod-borne viruses that occur within the United States. So like West Nile is usually they say reservoirs are birds and horses, but you can also get it through mosquitoes. Okay. And these are just some major ones. Again, the ones that I want you to know, I will have in a separate video.